Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the seed catalogs are delightful. Hey folks, it's Andy Krieger, your garden helper, and it's January, and one of the funnest things to do when we can't be outside is to sit by the fire and start planning for the next season. Seed catalogs are really neat because it gives us an early taste of what we're going to be having for the next year, what we want to have for the next year. We always kind of stick with our standard varieties, but I love to be able to experiment, as you know. So, we look at Totally Tomatoes, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, Shumway. But as a greenhouse grower, we also get into a little bit more. Dooman Genetics, North Carolina Farms, Terra Nova, proven winners of course. There's a lot of information out there for us to go through when we're planning our season. There are two pieces of equipment that are important when you're doing your January planning. Number one, a nice notepad. The second thing is an imagination. I like to experiment every year with some new varieties. I always have the standouts and the ones that we do every year, but experimenting is a lot of fun. But as I've found out, if you try to experiment with every variety that are listed in many of these catalogs, there's two things going to happen. First of all, you're going to go broke because there's a lot of seed packets in these. Secondly, your garden will never be big enough. You're going to spend all of your time out there rototilling and weeding. Each season, I will go ahead and pick out probably 6 new varieties of tomatoes. I'll do about 3 varieties of new peppers. But I also, of course, in the flowers end, I might pick out new zinnias, new petunias, a pansy that's unique. But I want to try something a little bit different. Even if I don't do it from seed myself, when I look at these catalogs, I'm going to expect to see them out there in the garden centers. And it just kind of flags it for me that when I see it, hey, I wanted to try that. And based on the list that I've written, I can go ahead and check it off because I'll put it in there and see what it does. Along with this list, I'll write out not only the variety, but a little bit about how tall it gets. What type of, is it going to be sun? Is it going to be shade? Is it vegetative where it grows low? Or is it going to be upright? These notes that I write in January, I will use in February and March when I plan out my garden design for the next year. Every year we change that design a little bit, and these notes I take will allow me to be a little bit more efficient in my planning come spring. When planning for the next year, one of the things I always try to do is address a specific problem that I've had in years past. For example, for me, the carrots that I grow don't store quite really as well as I want them to. They don't last as long down the root cellar. So I'm going to look for a variety in my magazines that are going to help address that. For example, Autumn King carrot, a large late type, particularly excellent for winter storage and freezing. That is exactly what I'm looking for. I've never raised it before, and it sounds good according to the description how it's written. This is one that I'm going to write down on my list to come back to come springtime. Another great enjoyment of going through the catalogs is to see what new equipment's out there that'll help my gardening go a little bit easier. Boy, I look at garden fencing, a lot of things I don't need, but a lot of them I find really interesting, and it's always kind of look and keep them in your back pocket. We're looking at Swedish horseshoes, garden rocking roller seats, tomato craters. There's just all kinds of neat things. Some of them pertain, some of them don't, but I tell you, it makes for hours of enjoyment. Okay, this has been an evening well spent with all my newfound friends. I've got a plan. I've got some new ideas. My blood is definitely running green, ready to get out there in springtime, but now all we really need to do is wait for the calendar to turn to be able to get out and turn some soil. Okay, until next time, folks, it's Andy